So when I get to meet Christ, there was a substantial change in my life. I met him at the point I was trying to commit suicide. And when he came into my life, when he found me in these terrible circumstances, he completely changed just about everything in my life. But there is one thing that, for whatever reason, would not go away. And it wasn't just anger. It was this, I don't know, just rage. And it had to do with me, probably the way what happened at home with my parents. My home wasn't very stable. There was always screaming and yelling and anger issues, So I grew up seeing this, experiencing on myself, and then myself giving it away. I guess I used rage a lot of the times as a defense mechanism, kind of like stay away, because if you come too close, I will bite. It's just I noticed that the whole thing just got worse and worse and worse. And even though I became a Christian, God did amazing things in my life. Everything that's happened in my life is because of His grace. That would not go away. I did everything that a good Christian is supposed to be doing, and that was always underneath. I was a monster. That's what it was. If you watch that movie Hulk, that was my life. Somebody would come to give me critic for whatever, and I will shoot your head off. But it was going to a point now that I almost became physical at times. Like one time, I just married my wife, and she had these friends that they were playing around, and this one guy pushed my wife off the stool where she was sitting, and she fell onto the ground. And I remember just looking at this guy, and everything just turned red. And the only thing I thought is just kind of jumping on his neck and just either snap his neck or just do something. I just wanted to hurt him so bad. And me being a Christian, after that whole thing went away, I'm thinking, what am I doing? How can I get rid of this? So, and it was until recently, that was my life. I think it was before or fasting time of the year, and it was in David Hess. They came to talk about the Father's heart, and it's like I heard this already, blah blah blah, and I remember the word came up, and David was talking about the heart, and I felt this like not conviction, but this thing is like, what, I can't live with this anymore. And I remember coming into the front, and I'm like, I'm here, God, and this is it, I don't know what else to do. There's nothing else that I can do about this. And I remember start crying, and I felt God's presence. And I remember Mark Ulrich came, and he embraced me, he gave me a hug, and I'm crying like a little kid. But every time I was crying, I can feel like my heart just getting lighter and lighter and lighter. And then suddenly, this weight that I have on my shoulders, like this kind of hand pushing me down, went away. And I feel like for the first time, like in 20 years, you can breathe. It's like that fresh air. It's some of that same sensation that I had when I became a Christian 20 years ago. It came all over again. And at first I didn't know what it meant. I just didn't know what it meant. But then what I started seeing is that, the same situation would come up, and it would make me crazy, angry. Now, they would still upset me, but that Hulk, that green person behind me, wasn't there anymore. And I was like, wow, I'm free. Whatever was had my life under chains, went away. It's just, I didn't want to start saying it, and I think I had to do it for own fear, had to do it because I didn't want to say anything that people will come and say, what are you talking about? How sometimes you become a Christian and people criticize you, like, I thought you were a Christian and you were healed. I was just going to be cautious because I didn't want to say something that wasn't true. So I was very cautious, more than anything with my family, because I did cause a lot of damage to my family. I did hurt my wife and kids pretty much, so. I'm sorry. And because of that, I want to be careful. And to make sure that this change, it was a good change. It's a good, for sure. I feel like the blind man they say, you know what, I'm good, you know, and like, people can ask me, I don't know. Ask him. He did it. He's the one that did it. I just know that before I have an issue, I was enslaved, and now I'm free. And as things happen, as pressure built at work, people came and really upset me. The green man never showed up again. The monster wasn't there. And I just can say, thank you, God.